Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
That's the thing about a live podcast. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Wow. Honestly, the fact that it sounded so shitty is kind of perfect.
Do you feel good about it, Laurie Kilmartin?
No, I feel like I've been put in my place, and I no longer think I'll be successful, but it's relaxing. I was like, if we can't even get our theme song to sound non-scratchy.
Oh, do you feel like the pressure is now off?
I do.
Oh,
my
good.
entire life, not the show. I'm just talking, I'm talking macro, not micro.
Oh, interesting. What I think is interesting is that you're already successful, and yet you're like, nope, it's over. I'm never going to make it. Anyway,
Jackie,
we have made it. We're in Bend.
It's true. We're
It's
in Bend,
a live
Oregon.
show in Bend. Thanks for coming.
We're at the 7 Club, and is the number 7 significant in Bend? It seems when I put 7 into Lyft, like 45 things came up.
Well,
no? Okay.
is
You
it
are
the deadly-
man-spreading unbelievably, and
Yeah,
I respect you
hi.
for it. My knees are together. I'm the lady of the two of us.
You were going to record this, weren't you?
Yes, I am. I did. I
Oh,
started.
you started already?
I did. Yeah,
Well, good
I'm
for
on
you.
it, Jackie.
All right. I'm just making sure.
We're gonna. Not that I'm sure that sound system will be fine. I'll just make a backup just in case.
Just in case.
And can you
Anyway,
guys? Are you okay? Can you see? Are you comfortable? Okay.
do you feel good? Do you feel
Yes.
good about yourselves? Yeah, this table is weird, and I'm going to have to go with more of a sort of a side saddle.
No, I'm excited at full crotch Jackie. It's
Wow.
That's one we
All
haven't
right.
seen before.
We did a little bit of stand-up. You worked on some new stuff. I
Yes.
worked on some new stuff. Mm-hmm. We did the things that we're supposed to do.
I was worried, like when I saw yours tonight, your she/her stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, am I stepping on any of your stuff? But I think it goes in a different direction, right?
It does go in a different
Okay.
direction, right? It's a very
Yes.
different.
Okay.
And the thing is it's in the zeitgeist. Everyone's talking about it.
It's true. Yes.
Gender. It's out there, you guys. We all have some, or we don't. Huh? Come on.
Also, I'm tired of talking about my kid. Like, I just
Oh, yeah.
want a life. I want a life on stage where I'm not a mother.
Right,
you know,
right. And
for
here's
just some material.
Do you know who's excited about that too? Your
Who?
kid. He's like, could there be an album that isn't about me? It's like, and my dad told me that he was like, you do more than 20 minutes about me, that's my album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
people,
He's not
and I
wrong.
think rightly feel possessive of the material you make up about them. You know?
Right. I would
I-
love to tell you that I was making up material about my father. Sadly.
Well, not only do I talk too much about my son on stage, but I also forgot to buy him a plane ticket back home.
Oh my God, that's right. He now
yes.
lives in Oregon. He is now. He's making it weird in Portland. He's going to be the weirdest kid in Portland.
Oh yeah. I thought we were both coming home on Sunday, but when I checked the reservation, he's not on it, and the
think he
flight
can-
I'm on is sold out. So,
I would love the idea that he canceled his reservation.
that might be possible soon. He does hate school.
Right, he is 13. So,
Yes.
and he does. Did he get to bring his iPad?
Yeah, he did. He's nonstop drawing and stuff. Yeah.
Right, right. You're like, well, if I'm with you, then you can bring the iPad. Because
Yeah.
he can't bring it to school, right? He can't
No,
bring
not
it.
at all. No.
So
Yeah.
it's in the house always, and
Yes.
then with you for this holiday.
Yeah.
Yes. How was your holiday, Thanksgiving?
It was fine. How was yours?
Wow, that's it, huh? Well, it's such a close, loving family. What the fuck is going on?
You know, I hung out with some cousins. I
And
don't
a
have
sister
crazy
and-
stories. They're not
Yeah.
Armenians. They're normal. And so nothing batshit or insane happened.
Oh, well, congratulations. We just went over and I got to pet some dogs. Always pleased to get to pet some dogs at somebody else's house.
Yeah.
I tweeted a thing that said, if I ever get a dog, I'm naming it FOMO. And I almost burst into tears because I've never had a dog and I want a fucking dog
You've
so
never
bad.
had a dog?
No.
Oh,
I used to do a joke about how I wanted the dog so bad that when I was 9, I wanted to be blind so I could have a dog. And I told my parents, and this is true,
So you'd be
actually.
forced to have a dog?
Right. And I told Nancy and my dad that, and they laughed and said, well, we still wouldn't get you a dog. We'd get you a stick. You could name the stick. That's what Nancy Cation told me. You could name the stick.
If you were Eliza Schlesinger's feature, you could hold her dog during her set.
I've held Karen Rontowski's dog sometimes during
Yeah.
her set. That was actually quite fun. Karen Rontowski has a little papillon named Courage. Huh? Courage! That's right. That's what that dog gives her. It gives her the courage to keep getting up in the morning instead of calling it.
Welcome to a podcast where we talk about other people's dogs.
No reason not to. So much drama in stand-up comedy. You guys, who was I talking to? Oh, I know. When I checked into the hotel today,
Yeah.
here in Bend,
Right.
The guy, he was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you, the police? You got a nose problem?" Anyway,
I get is there organ trafficking at our hotel? Because he seemed shocked that we were checking in both instances.
oh really?
Yeah.
But he was like, "You do stand-up comedy." Then there was a long pause, and then he goes, "There's a lot of stand-up comedy I don't like. There are men. There's a lot of male comics I don't like."
Oh, he said
And then-
male comics?
Yeah, and then he
Oh,
said,
okay.
"And there's a lot of female comics I don't like." And I said, "Yeah, it's stand-up comedy. There's going to be a whole spectrum." And he made the gesture to the right and then the gesture to the left. And I was like, those people in the middle, those are the comics you're going to enjoy, perhaps.
Did you invite him to the show tonight?
He's here. No, he isn't. I have no idea. He lied to me and told me he would come. No, I have no idea. It's
Please don't say you're going to come and please don't ask about it if you have no intention. That's my plea.
Right.
Okay, so wait, 2 things today that happened. First is I guess Louis did a joke in Israel about Auschwitz, right?
CK?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. So there's a headline. Louis C.K. tells Israeli audience he prefers Auschwitz to New York City, which of course is like what? And then you read it and it's part of a joke, and so you can't report a joke as if it's a conversation and news.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
It's just clickbait.
It's also like with me, you could say, not that if I was ever famous enough to be misinterpreted, Laurie Kilmartin wants to drown her son.
Right.
It's like, no,
I
that's,
love that
I
bit.
mean, yes, but it's no, because it's part of a joke, right?
Right,
So
right.
everyone's responding to it like he actually
Here's
thinks Auschwitz is preferable.
Here's what I want to know. Just quick question about it.
Well,
Go for it.
let's just talk about how comfortable you made yourself during an Auschwitz discussion.
When
That's
I think
very
about Auschwitz,
inappropriate.
I think, let's put my feet up. and
And not defending him at all. I'm just saying, like, in general, you can't report on jokes as if someone's having a conversation and telling an audience of people something when actually they're performing.
it's so weird. Israel is
Would
booking
you
CK.
say what?
Israel is booking CK?
They
That's
are.
the weird thing.
Would you say Tony Bennett told an audience that he wants them to fly him to the moon? Like, no. He fucking sang a song with that lyric, okay? So a comic is saying words with jokes with words in them.
I know. It's so weird. My big thing about CK is the joke anywhere near fucking done? Or did we just have to listen to a premise?
I don't know. He might have been riffing, but it's. I mean, this is his personal hell, where everything he says is going to be transcribed as if it's a final word. And
you know
then,
why?
Why?
Because he never processed the fuck.
Oh, he deserves it, totally.
Yeah. Like if he would have processed his own actions,
Yeah.
then everyone would be like, "Oh my God, he's so woke."
Yes.
But nope. Now he gets to have every incel shitbag in the whole wide world be his fan.
We need to have a sex offender understand what they did and come full circle, but maybe that's not possible. You know what I mean?
So far, no. Okay. I don't know
Well,
if
this
you've seen our
podcast
government.
is over. This is what our main mission was, and I guess it won't happen.
Worm people roam free. They roam free. And it's every
But-
rock in this fucking country is turned over.
That leads to this other story today where Pete Davidson.
Oh,
And
that
by
guy.
the way, first of all, Pete Davidson to me, okay, I met him once. He was so nice to me, so I was like, already there's nothing he can do that's wrong. I'm so easy to buy.
Right.
And then,
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. His name is Pete Davidson. Is he a white guy?
yeah, Jackie, he's
Okay.
on SNL. Yes.
Is he? Is he an SNL? I've
Yes.
never watched an entire episode.
Could you participate in our
my own
industry
career
for one fucking
no,
day?
No, I only want to just do this with the it. Anyway,
Okay. I don't even know what you said, and no one else does.
go. Judge not.
So-
Anyway, so Pete Davidson.
So, and as someone in our text thread we were talking about it pointed out, he has, said he has bipolar disorder.
Okay.
And that leads to paranoia, and that leads to maybe this action he took, which is he's making people that are coming to see his show print out a non-disclosure agreement and sign it. And if they mention the show or any joke he did afterwards on social media, he can sue them for $1 million. Which part of me is like, yes, Pete. Yes, that's right.
Gutsy
That's how you
stuff.
protect your fucking material till you're done with it, right?
Is anyone coming to the shows?
I don't know, but it's a crazy thing to ask.
Right. Here's what he might want to. He said because of his bipolarness and his paranoia.
Right.
The action that he might have taken this action because of it. I thought
Yes.
you were going to say seen a psychiatrist about adjusting his meds. There's an
Perhaps.
idea. Hey,
Perhaps.
dum dum. You're a grown up man. Grown up man. Go to the doctor.
He's only 25.
Oh, so he's almost a grown up man.
Wait a minute.
I
Here's
mean-
the thing. He has a soft spot in my heart because he dated a woman 25 years his senior. And to me, that
Oh my God! I was not.
yes. Any
least
guy
not
that
his-
does that can commit murder, and I will be their alibi.
Again, he needs his meds adjusted.
Maybe I need some meds.
Everybody who's dating 25 years in either direction is creeping me out. Anyway,
No, in that case, it's bucket lists on both ends, right?
Well,
the
get
25-year-olds like and Kate
did you ever
Beckinsale.
sleep with an old person?
No, I mean I
Okay.
masturbated today, so yeah, I guess, but no.
Bam!
But I mean, so it's Kate Beckinsale, who's like in her late 40s and it looks amazing. But still, that's a thing like, wow, it's like some mom stuff. And if you're that age and you're going that young, that's just like, I want to get fucked hard for many times a day as long as I can. Right? So for both of them, it was like
I
a little
love that
dream.
you just go, right? That's what we all want. No, none of us want that. It's age-appropriate cuddling. And then a hot dick. Yes.
All right.
But it doesn't have to be super young.
Well, you know what? I'm not married. You could let me have my fantasy.
You can have your fantasy, which is of that guy and Kate Beckinsale. Which seems to be your fantasy is weird.
No, I'm just saying, I appreciate the spirit of a 25-year-old man who
Wanting
dates
in on that?
way the fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we can figure out. Yeah.
I don't want any 25-year-old comics.
No, not a comic.
No.
No, I could probably hook you up with an IT guy. Is that something?
No. But I
You
like
thought
that Kate Beckinsale is dating the young comics so that we don't have to.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true. So you
She's
got to
a
save
hero
other
on that level.
comics from male comics. Yeah, comics should not date. I mean, it's a hard thing when comics date comics.
Well, okay, so are you going into that story
About
about the comic who complained about a female comic?
oh, that guy.
Yes.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Jackie's going to write the name down. Not fuck that guy.
No.
He's very nice to me.
He never remembers my name. Anyway, so here's what happens is, so the guy
Yeah.
on his podcast loses his shit about this woman's tweet. Okay? So this woman does a tweet where she says headliners who bring features on the road should not have sex with them. And that was the whole thing. Didn't say male headliners, didn't say anybody headliner, just said, and so he said, here, pass this around. These are two names.
Sorry, the front row has to do a little work here.
Yeah, first row. So here's the thing. So, and then he said, fucking bitches, man. She's such a twat. Did you hear what he called her?
No, he said talk about your twat.
Talk about your twat
I mean, it's
for
not
another
much better.
hour. Right.
It's not much
well,
better.
Yeah, you quote what he said.
Well, here's the thing. I'd love to weigh in, but my son's father was my feature act, so I feel like anything I
But
say
it was
would be complete.
consensual, right?
It was.
There you go.
Yes,
And-
and a terrible idea, but yeah.
But I think that, and I know that women comics do it as well.
Yes.
But the power dynamic when you are the headliner and your feature and your MC, you're like, oh, look at that youth. I'm gonna get that all over my body.
Right.
And
Well,
so
I think when you're a female that needs to be taken out like on tour and, and have somebody help you out, you're sort of in a more vulnerable place than a male who's also hoping for the same thing from a female headliner.
Except for the fact is, I know that I go out with Brian Regan. He has never in his whole entire life ever hit on me. And the first couple of times that I went on the road with him, he brought his kids and his nanny so that I would feel safe. Because he's the nicest man on the planet.
Sweet.
Yes.
But the nanny hit on you, which was very
very
uncomfortable.
weird.
Yeah.
And the children. But they just wanted candy. Yeah, nobody hit on me. But the thing is like, and I know there are famous women comics who book, who have men who open for them.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think that they're sleeping with the guys.
Sure.
Is
Well,
is she sleeping?
It's a potentially incendiary tweet because it was very general, and when people are grown-ups, and comics do want to fuck other comics because it's you're in such this weird world. It's like, oh, this guy has something in common with me. He's not going to tell me not to go out and do spots tonight unless he's that kind of a male comic. Then you marry him. But oh, interesting. Really?
Right. No, I don't think that they have.
Oh, okay.
They don't have sex. Give me one of those pieces of paper back.
We need the
a
paper
blank-
beneath that one back.
A blank piece of paper.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could untangle one of the cords.
Thank you.
The audience is really very helpful.
The audience
Thank
is
you so
checking
much.
out. We appreciate it.
It's
Thank you
very
very much.
nice. And so I mean, the thing is women comics, women headliners have male openers as well, and I don't think there's a lot of people sleeping with other people. You know?
Who knows? And I guess the bigger story is the overreaction to what she said.
Overreaction of what that guy said.
Yeah.
And it's because he talks to himself every Monday morning for an hour.
Jackie, you're really getting close to identification.
To naming him?
Don't.
Oh, I don't care. But the
Here's
thing,
it, but I do-
and I won't. But the thing is I don't like. I shouldn't have a podcast. You're here to essentially a soundboard to go, Jesus Christ, don't blow up your career.
Calm down. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I've almost gone down many roads, and you give me a dirty look, and then I shut up. Right. So it's never. There's a lot of comics where this applies to, where it's not healthy to be talking into a mic with no feedback from anybody else.
Right.
And it can lead you down a certain place that maybe you wouldn't have gone had you seen someone's eyebrows raise.
Right. If you had done it in front of a live, like, 'cause stand-up is such a live audience.
Yeah.
You know, when you try a bit and there's dead silence, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I should reconsider this topic.
Right.
You don't know.
So if you're alone in a room podcasting and it's always going to be dead silence. Now you can't tell a good dead silence from a bad one because that's all you have, right?
Right.
An instructive
Right.
one. So I don't know.
I don't even know why I'd want to talk without an audience.
But
Like,
I sometimes do feel like you forget that I'm here.
I know that you have a better time when Kyle is here. So there you go.
That's not true at all.
Hey,
I love my little Jackie.
Here's what I would like to do is I would
Yes.
like to take a break for Maxed FunCon.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Yeah.
All right. Come back.
Okay.
We interrupt the podcast you're listening to tell you about another podcast. That's right, We Got This with Mark and Hal.
That's correct, Mark. This is Hal. We do the hard work for you, settling all of the meaningless arguments you have with your friends.
So tune in every week on the Maximum Fun Network for We Got This with Mark and Hal, and all your questions will be asked and answered.
You're welcome. All right, that's enough of that.
We got this.
We're back.
What's next?
Okay. So wait. So didn't you have a bunch of shows with Maria?
Oh, I did. I
Tell,
did Philadelphia.
tell.
I did Boston and Philadelphia, and something else. Maybe. I don't know.
DC?
No, it wasn't. It was. I don't care. It was a lot of places. Here's a name. If I get one of those pieces of paper back, I can add a name to it. Because here's the thing. There was a guy who I was super sad.
Yeah.
That and I haven't seen him since 2003.
Right.
And he said to me in 2003 that I wasn't a real comic. And granted, I had only been doing comedy then for 20 years. So it was important.
It's year
that-
21 when it really starts
It's
to
21 is when you
coalesce.
start to
Yes.
really get to headline
Yeah.
or something. And I had just it was right after my half-hour special, and he was working.
Jesus.
He
Wait,
was
who was
working
it?
in the
Is it-
same town. And get this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
That's shitty.
Right. And I couldn't talk to him because it turns out I still care that he said that.
Yeah.
And but here's the crazy thing. He doesn't sell merch. He sells meet and greets.
What?
Yeah, that's the correct response. $60 to stand next to him and get a poster and get a picture, and maybe he signs the poster, I assume.
We only
$60.
charge 50. That's amazing.
That's so weird. That is amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing?
Wow.
And, right, I was like, gutsy stuff, man.
Wait, under what? How did he tell you weren't a real comic? I don't
It was,
understand how that conversation starts.
It was a terrible conversation where we were. I had an opinion about a famous comic.
Yeah.
And he said because I didn't like this guy,
Oh.
I wasn't a real comic because I'd never played Madison Square Garden
Okay,
and
all right.
Carnegie Hall and the
What,
improvs.
was he perhaps
or whatever.
joking or
no,
being...
no.
Oh. Okay.
No, it was a 45-minute conversation.
Wow.
It was a
Okay.
long conversation.
Okay.
For someone who literally was not nice. And
Yeah.
the thing is this was almost 20 years ago, right?
Right,
So
right.
2003.
Okay.
16, long time ago.
Yeah.
He has supposedly, the guy who said this to me is a much nicer man now.
Yeah.
He has mellowed with age. He is a better person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. And
You shouldn't. Hold every grudge. That's what I say.
Wow,
That's what
you're
I tell
like
my
Mary
son.
Poppins.
What?
Anyway, is that Sound of Music? What is that? Hold every grudge. Anyway, so and but I will say this is that I'm probably wrong, and I shouldn't hold this grudge.
Right.
But it doesn't. That's why I don't name him, is because he's probably a better person now, and he's not being such a shitbag to humans.
No, but Jackie, you don't drink anymore, right?
Not at this time.
Like
I
you-
will tell you something, Bend. I was over at your very nice, tiny, thousands of beer places across the street. And a stranger was like, "You got to try one of those 7. You got to try one of those 7 beers. You can try all those 7 beers.
7 again, the number 7?
Again, the 7
What the
beers.
fuck?
Is
this a mystical place?
or a hellmouth. Anyway, so it's a hellmouth for REI. Anyway, so it's a Subaru hotbed. There's that the hotel art in my hotel room is a bicycle, is a bike wheel.
Wow.
It's a fucking bike wheel.
Mine is jizz on the wall. It's pretty.
Did you bring blacklight again? Don't bring blacklight into
That's
the
how
Red
I
Lion.
write. Here's my
Anyway.
point. You don't drink, right?
Right.
You don't have much. So, but you have grudges, okay? So
Oh,
you don't
interesting.
have
I
to
should
give up
nurse
your
them?
grudges. Yes, that's all you have left, Jackie.
Just nurse my grudges.
You can't drink. You can't do drugs. You have a husband, okay?
I will tell you
can't-
this: my grandmother, who died when she was a little over 100.
Oh, my God.
She had grudges until her very last day.
They keep you alive.
Interesting.
So many Jews that survived the Holocaust, they fucking hunted Nazis until they were in their hundreds. Because that fucking anger kept them alive, okay?
Oh, all right.
So,
All right.
yes, nurse
Wow.
it, keep
and
it
we're
going.
back to CK. And exactly, finally. Yeah. So in Boston. So we did great shows. Maria did not bring any merch. So I sold $1,000 in merch over 3 shows.
Man.
Which was Banana Land and exciting.
Yes.
And quite lovely.
That's a lot.
I tipped well.
Yeah.
So you'll be happy to know. But and then we went to Philly where and her husband Scott was with her.
Uh-huh.
And I had the greatest sandwich I've ever had in my life. If you ever go to
Yeah.
Philadelphia, it's not a cheesesteak. I don't care about Cheese Whiz. I don't want any part of it. But they had something called a pulled pork sandwich with broccoli rab on it. And rab has an E. So there you go. Look that up.
Ram, like the band? R-E-M?
No, not Rem.
Ram?
R-A-B-E.
R-A-B-E?
Yeah, B as in boy.
Rabe?
Yeah, like Rabe, but it's
Okay.
pronounced Rab.
Is it? It shouldn't be. They're doing it wrong.
Well, let's sum it up. But here's
So-
what I have to say. It was all in a terminal, something called like an old train station.
Yeah.
That turned into one of those places where you go and get 1,000 sandwiches. And I sat next to a guy at the counter. I was told to go to this one place for this one sandwich, Denix. So I go and I sit at the counter, and there's a guy sitting next to me. And I was looking at the menu, and I was like, "Is that the whole menu?" And he's like, "You're getting the pulled pork with the broccoli rab on it." And I was like, "Am I?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he went back to eating his sandwich. And then...
Jackie, you're so easily dominated. That's
well,
amazing. I
when it
didn't
comes
think
to-
you were like that.
I'm a bottom.
Oh, you've been
you
identified
forgot
as
that
a
I was-
bottom.
Yeah, you forgot that I was a bottom. Anyway, so... nice callback, kid. All right. And so... a little bit of an applause break back there. Good for you. All right. You could be the comic of the week. Wait a minute. Should we do the comic of the week?
Oh, yeah. What time is it?
I don't know.
How much time have we done? Oh, sorry. I have to enter a password.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we're at 26. No.
That seems good. You want to wait 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway,
Tell the story.
tell the story about. So he finishes his broccoli and a pulled pork sandwich, and goes away. We talk for a heartbeat. It was a lovely conversation. He goes away. All of a sudden, he's right behind me. Right, like he was gone. It was empty. There was nothing happening. All of a sudden, right fucking behind me, and he goes, "You're getting a cannoli too, right?" And I was like, where am I getting it? I was told to get a cannoli. I don't know where. And he's like, "It's right down there. It's called Trivoli's or something like that." And so then I went and I got a cannoli. Here's the thing. I don't think I've ever had a decent cannoli in my life. I've had mediocre cannolis my whole life. Go to Philadelphia, a destination cannoli. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
I've
It's
never
amazing.
had a cannoli, but I know that they were thrown from the car in The Godfather.
No, don't forget the cannoli.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had to get the cannoli. Sorry.
Let me tell you something. You're watching the Jackie and Laurie Show, which is obviously a big part of the Godfather legacy. I've never seen the second movie, Godfather 2.
Oh,
Have you
it's
ever-
really good.
That's what I hear.
3 goes off the rails, but Andy Garcia's in it.
I don't want any part. I saw the first one finally because
Yeah.
all of my brothers love the Godfather. So at the end of the first Godfather, there's that long shot where somebody kisses his ring, and I'm like, he just lied to her and said he wasn't. This relationship isn't going to work out.
Oh,
and
you
so,
saw the closing shot first?
I saw the closing shot of the first Godfather,
Oh, I see,
and so
yeah.
decided not to watch the second Godfather. And I was like, "Well, these assholes, this isn't going to work out well." And then I saw a lot
Do
of.
not watch The Irishman.
Do not.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of the Irishman.
Oh, really? I started it.
Well, why wouldn't you? It had the word Irish in it.
Oh, that's true.
And I understand it's 7 hours long.
3.5, and De Niro plays an Irishman. Already, you've lost me.
Oh my God.
No, I think it's good. I just
Spanish,
started it.
right?
Yeah.
He's the black Irishman. He's Spanish Irish.
No, he's he's Italian.
Incorrect.
Right.
Oh, does he play an Italian in the Irish?
No. De Niro's Italian.
No, I know, but he's an actor.
Yeah,
So maybe
I-
he plays a black. Maybe
I
he
swear,
plays a
I will
black
leave.
Irishman.
I will leave.
You
You don't
can't
need
leave.
me.
We're at 30 minutes. Let's talk about our comic of the week.
Yeah.
There you go. Do it.
Our comic of the week is Elaine Johnson. She
She
went
opened for
up
us
earlier tonight.
Local favorite Elaine Johnson.
That's
Why
right.
not?
As far as we can tell, she's not on Twitter, though.
Right. What the hell's your Twitter feed, Johnson?
No?
What? Why do you have to run? Oh, fair enough.
It's at
Oh, hi, Elaine. Elaine, right? Okay. All right. Cool. Right on.
As in O-H-I?
Yeah. Thank you for the line reading. I appreciate that, Elaine.
She's going to need to spell it for me later. I'm just saying, Kyle, find it. Okay. So we did it. And you know what? Is it too soon to do another Max Fun break? Let's just put them right next to each other.
It
No?
is too soon.
All right.
Let's talk about, on America's Got Talent with...
right.
So Gabrielle Union was...
Quit. America's
No, she
Got
was let
Talent.
go.
Oh, was she let go?
She was let go. She
piped up.
She piped up about a lot of stuff, but the comedy related thing, I guess Leno was doing some interstitials or something, and he made I forget exactly. There's a picture of a bunch of dogs, and he says something like, "Oh, that's a Korean restaurant menu" or something like
Right,
that.
because he's still writing.
And it's like the hackiest.
Yeah.
Joke
It's been
in the
covered.
world,
It's
right?
been covered since 1952.
And you can't.
Anyway.
You can't. Also, not only is it hacky, it's like there's a trillion Asian Americans watching America's Got Talent. So you just don't do that shit. I mean, it's comedy on shows like that. It's very
hacky and it's
very
jackassy.
No, but that one was. But I'm saying when you're doing comedy on those shows, it's very bland on purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And so. I don't know what the way it was presented in an article is she said, I find this offensive I think you could have just said, oh, that's not going to play with our audience, and they would have yanked it, And I don't know if how she was portraying the article is exactly correct, but I never think you should say, I find that offensive to a comic. Because that makes a comic go, really? and get excited. You know? Like, I think there's a different way to say it where people's feelings aren't hurt.
Irritated them.
I know.
With the
Yes.
there were a bunch of drag performers, I guess, and she would ask them what their pronouns were. She was like, "What are your preferred pronouns?" And I guess Simon
That
Cowell and those
irritated
guys,
producers.
Yeah, people were like, "What are you asking them for?" Well, I don't know. I wanted to know, and because she's not a piece of work.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. But she stood up for several different situations in the article.
Yeah.
And the comedy related one was she just said, but the thing is to say that it's offensive is, I mean, maybe she doesn't do stand up.
No. Whenever, I tweeted
She doesn't
this,
know that that's going to light him on fire.
Yes, you got
Put
to
a
use the word
nickel
hacky.
into him.
You got to use the word hacky because then comics are like, oh my. For some reason, that's the one that stabs us in the heart. But offensive, it always sounds like it's more about the person saying it than it's about your joke. But hacky does feel like it's an attack on your creativity. That's always the way to get a comic. And I don't know why I would tell you that, but
Right, and I don't know why I would tell you this, is when I was in college, I used to play hacky sack, and they called me Jack the Hack.
Oh, wow.
And when I started doing stand-up comedy, I was like, you have to stop calling me that. And I have two friends from college who play hacky sack with me to this day, who are like, hey, Jack the Hack. And I was like, you can't.
No.
Shh. Quiet time. Don't say it in front of anybody who knows anything about stand-up because it'll sound like I'm a bad stand-up comic. And I obviously have some issues, and maybe I should get my meds adjusted. Call back.
Well, you're full of medical advice for everybody,
It
including
turns
yourself.
out my medical degree is in political science.
You know what what did happen at Thanksgiving is my cousin's son is 10, and he wants to be a stand-up comic.
Oh my God.
And he started asking me questions that were pretty well constructed about jokes and how I come up with them and what happens when they don't work. And I was very enthusiastic and positive. And his mom got angry.
What just happened? You were enthusiastic and positive?
Yeah.
It can happen, you guys. It can happen right in front of you.
Well, why wouldn't I encourage a young white male into comedy? You know, it tends to work out for those guys.
And this is an excellent transition.
That's right. Maybe he'll have me open on the road for him, and we're related, so there's no fucking weird stuff's gonna happen.
Right. Exactly. Did you see Kira Sultanovich's son?
I did.
Got up on stage at the Laugh Factory. Was that where he got up?
During the Thanksgiving shows, I think.
Right. And
Yeah.
did some time. Kira Sultanovich. You ever get a chance to see her? She's great. I bet her son isn't. No, but that's because
Whoa.
what? Come on, first time up. He's 10.
You're right.
And
My
see, I'm right.
my
Okay.
kid, because I do comedy, thinks comedy's lame,
Right.
which I'm fine with him thinking, and he might be right. Who knows?
My favorite thing here said, my entire family likes to say this, I really like stand-up comedy. And then I say back, I don't really like whatever money laundering thing you're in. And then we stop talking to each other for a second. And then we go get Greek food.
You are in
anyway,
the mafia.
Not it. Do you want to...
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, there's this other thing that happened a couple weeks ago that we forgot to talk about.
Oh,
was
right.
This woman owns a club. I forget what.
She owns a tiny theater.
It's in Massachusetts, right? It's kind of outside of Boston, right?
I think so, yeah.
And it's not a stand-up theater. It's more
Just
improv.
a black box
Yeah.
improv.
So there was a stand-up show going on, and she didn't like the jokes that the guy comics were telling.
Right, so she owned the space, and she booked someone to put a stand-up show there. So she didn't book the comics. She just booked one person to produce a show.
Right.
And then that person picked 5 comics, and 3 of them were, I guess, little hacky.
Yes. Not offensive.
Not
Hacky.
offensive at all. Turns out, giant fucking hacks.
Well,
anyway.
we don't know. We don't know because it's hard to say, and it's all. Anytime you read a joke, you also have to who's performing it, and a lot of things come into play. Don't you
sure.
think? So
they can. I mean, the thing is
here's the thing. Like, I can imagine Jay Leno telling the Korean joke, and I'm like, oh, all right, this is a piece of shit joke. Like, I can put it all together in my head. But what she, the joke she was objecting to, it was like, it depends. Like, I could see someone.
But
like,
I think it was like the 5th or 6th one, like it, and it was the
Perhaps.
3rd comic in a row.
I would say
she
if-
was just done.
She
Yeah.
was, which is totally her right to do.
Right.
I would say if that was me, I would just not book them back if I didn't like them.
Right.
I wouldn't cut the mic during the show.
Right.
That's a
so
lot.
yeah, that's what she did, and there were only 4 people in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've
was-
had. Here's the thing. Like I understand that feeling of I own this room, so I'm going to do what I want, which is cool.
Yeah.
You're allowed to. But also, I've had the mic cut on me because someone found me offensive. I was working in Anchorage, like in the early '90s, and I had one joke about sales clerks at Nordstrom's. And
I see already the
Wait.
controversy.
well, so. So a lady who worked at Nordstrom's was at the show.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, I love that joke. Will you do 30 minutes at our corporate event, a Nordstrom's corporate event? And I guess she thought
and you
had.
said yes?
Of course I did. Jackie was $150. I mean, please.
All right.
And I guess she thought I would have 30 minutes on sales clerks at Nordstrom's, but I just had that one joke. So I just did my regular set because she'd seen it at the club, and she cut the mic after the first blowjob joke, and then apologized for my set. And
Was it one of your first corporates?
it was my first ever corporate. I had
Oh my
no
God, that'll
idea.
do it.
I
You had
just
no
saw an
idea.
audience, and also there were a lot of Mormons work. It was a perfect storm. It was like a Mormon workforce at Nordstrom's in Anchorage, Alaska, and
Wow, you couldn't make that up.
but
That's
I will tell
amazing.
you a couple of sales people that were I would in retrospect say probably gay were like, that was great. They loved it, right?
Right.
But they couldn't say anything in front of her, so they would sneak up to me
And go,
There's
nice
like,
work, nice
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One of the first corporates I ever did that was a fancy corporate was for a video game company named Firaxis. They made Spore and Civilization. Like these
right?
giant...
Yes,
You're
yes.
familiar.
I'm very
You're
familiar with.
I know you
and
are.
fascinated by and excited to hear.
Back in the 12th century, I used to do a joke on Comedy Central about Final Fantasy Legend. They saw that one joke and they said, will you do 40 minutes? And I was like, I just have that one joke about video games. The rest of it is mostly about my father's sales career. And then I've got some dog jokes.
Yeah.
And And they were like, yeah, no, I'm sure it's going to be great. So I showed up. They didn't even give me a free copy of the game.
Wow.
I know it. I did the set. They paid me $3,000.
Oh my God.
But it was crickets, man. I did get a couple of nerds come up to me afterwards and go, I liked you anyway. But it was a little bit of that sneaking up and going, no, you were good. You were good. And I'm like, you were wrong. And I was performing in Baltimore over the Orioles playing field.
What do you mean? Were you hovering? I don't understand.
There was some sort of like restaurant-y kind of club thing.
Oh, overlooking
that was
it.
overlooking it, and it
Okay.
was all fancy. And I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I am doomed. And I too had a couple of dick jokes that nobody wanted to hear at their corporate event. Here's the thing: if you're booking a corporate event, please do not. Please tell the person that you wow, do you got to use your words?
But here's the thing. I mean, you look back, half these corporations have men that are like sexually harassing women, but you bring a female comic and she can't be blue, you know?
Right. They don't want anybody to be even pretend blue. But the shows. Let's see. There was a show I did the other night at the Improv in Hollywood, and my name was on the marquee.
Oh, next to Bill Burr's?
With Bill Burr's.
Yes,
And,
that was nice. And I was on the opposite marquee because I was
You were at the lab. Yeah.
I think we had different audience experiences that night.
Right, but I think because I was not on a show with Bill Burr, he was on the show after mine.
Oh, okay.
I was on a show with Caitlin Gill and Deb DiGiovanni and other great comics, but
Nice.
there was a guy in the second row who was clearly waiting for Bill Burr. I was like, dude, he's not coming, and I'm just gonna do these
So
jokes.
he's on
and
the
get-
10 o'clock and you guys were on
I
the 8?
was on the 8,
Okay.
yeah, and I was literally opening the 8 because I was flying here the next. I think it was Wednesday night, the day before Thanksgiving. So, and my
That was
flight
already 2 days ago. You have no idea where you
I
are.
have no idea where I am. I
Yeah.
know where I am right now, but it's all a blur. I was only home for one day. Like my flight, they were offering, get this, on Delta, $400 on Sunday if I would stay overnight and come back on Monday if I would stay
Wow.
overnight and come back on Tuesday.
You should have asked for diamond status.
I almost did. I was like, but I'm diamond. No, I did not say that.
but
But
she lost her diamond this
I'm
year.
going to lose.
If they
I'm not
really-
going to be diamond next
If
year.
they really wanted you, that you should have said, "Give me my diamond back."
I would like to be Delta 1. Anyway, I don't know what I want, but I want to travel less and make more money. How about that? Isn't
sounds
that what we
good.
all want? Doesn't that sound like the way to go?
I'm still depressed that I'll never work those clubs. That here's the thing. That what the guy said, I didn't sell enough tickets at one club, so I can't work 4. He has a ticketing agency company.
Yep.
So and I just was posting my I'm at Dr. Grin's in Grand Rapids.
Sure.
Right
Oh, yeah,
after
we're-
Christmas, if you guys are in Michigan, and but I was posting the link to the tickets. It's run by the guy who owns these other clubs, so this guy's gonna know. It makes me angry that he's going to have all this information about comedians, not just me, but all of us, if we're selling at these other clubs that even don't have anything to do with his club. He could say, you can't work this club because you didn't sell enough tickets at that club that I have nothing to do with. But since I
he
run
not
the
only
ticket
can say that, he does say that.
he does, yeah.
Because what he did is he
It
sold like a
seems like
Ticketmaster thing
Yeah.
to a bunch of different clubs, and it was fine, except for that he gets all that data. Like I know club owners who won't sell to him.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah. There's 2 clubs that
That's
won't.
it, just 2.
Well, the 2. Remember, I don't work for the big chains.
Right,
So
yeah.
the big. I don't know if the big chains use his thing, but
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, he uses that sort of against us, and it isn't. It isn't cool. I just want to do stand up, right?
No, I know, and I don't want, because I didn't sell a lot of tickets in Philly, I can't work in Michigan. What the fuck?
Right. Ooh, by the way, I should probably, as long as we're plugging gigs, if anyone knows anyone in Minnesota or Wisconsin, I'm doing Acme the week of the 10th, and I'm doing Madison, Wisconsin, the 21st. And that's very exciting. Then I'm doing Vermont and Zanies in Chicago in January. So good times. I have now officially plugged my calendar.
The least effective marketing is to tell people in one state that you're going to be working 5 to 10 states away. No, I know we have to do it. Other people are listening. I'm at Zanies on New Year's Eve.
That's
but I
right.
know you guys are zoning out right now. You're not
like,
making plans.
congratulations.
You're not.
I'm not even related to anyone there. Congrats. Everyone I know is in Montana, driving another Subaru.
What?
What?
The same?
That's
Oh, you
where
guys
you're
are from Montana? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Are you guys visiting? Or are you? Oh, okay.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, nice. Do you all live in Bend? All right. No, some of you do, some of you don't. It's almost like you're individuals. Good for me. All right, I can be taught simple. Let's do.
Your
Let's do
crowd
another
work ends in you questioning yourself.
at all times. Allow me to write down some time code for another break.
Okay.
Welcome back to Fireside Chat on KMAX. With me in studio to take your calls is the dopest duo on the West Coast, Oliver Wong and Morgan Rhodes. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I'm looking for a music podcast that's insightful and thoughtful, but also helps me discover artists and albums that I've never heard of.
Yeah, man. Sounds like you need to listen to Heat Rocks. Every week, myself, and I'm Morgan Rhodes, and my co-host here, Oliver Wong, talk to influential guests about a canonical album that has changed their lives.
Guests like Moby, Open Mike Eagle, talk about albums by Prince, Joni Mitchell, and so much more.
Yo, what's that show called again?
Heat Rocks, deep dives into hot records.
Every Thursday on Maximum Fun.
Now, let's
Yeah.
talk about is it the University of Chicago study?
Yeah, University of Chicago study, and it's a quick study, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I'm just checking the time. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let them know.
Let them know. We're checking the time.
Oh, for
How
fuck's
long are
sake.
we done?
We've
Where are
done
we at?
45:27.
45?
Let me get the hundreds.
So at this 15-minute mark, let us introduce a very controversial. So the University of Wisconsin, an econ dude there, if I got it right, did a study of 55 comedy clubs around the United States. The headliner, the feature, the MC, which are the paid road gigs around the country, are those three spots. It's not showcase clubs. So he wasn't doing stage time, he was doing paid comics.
Right.
And the study is how many of those were straight white guys and how many of those were women, people of color, trans, 11 years old. I don't know what the criteria was.
He broke it down to a lot of
Yeah, he breaks it down.
categories.
And then he lists the 55 clubs that he did.
Right.
And the results were nothing that surprised us because we're grinding it out and we have work, but there's a lot of comics who don't.
We have some work.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
don't
would like
have
to
all
work
the work.
I
Yeah.
would like to work those big chains that are in that.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 clubs that I think book me regular every year that were in those 55. And but it was 16% were women.
16% of the total performers were female.
Right. And 6% I think were people of color.
Wow.
And it
Women of color.
I thought it was it just women of
Yeah,
color?
yeah.
Okay. And there was some sort of, and for some reason he broke it down into Middle Eastern, Asian, and then everybody else.
Well, what else is there? Is there
It turns
another? I don't
out
know, Jackie.
There's a pile of black women comics who are like, what the fuck? If we could just
Everybody
say
else.
black women comics, Latino. I mean, it was weird that it got cut. But so it's a flawed report because it's 3 months. It's 55. It's a slice of life, right?
Right.
And there was some people lost their shit.
Yeah.
Because
And all of the people had 2 things in common.
what was they?
Penises that were white. Yeah.
Interesting. Caucasian dong.
Yeah.
You want to call the show the Caucasian dong?
It was just a lot of angry.
Right, but my favorite was beloved button pusher Ryan Stout.
Yes.
Which
I
we
love
eventually-
Ryan. He's so funny. He's a great joke writer, and
He's a really
very
great joke writer.
contrarian. Yes.
And he was on the Dork Forest, which is my other podcast. And here, this sums up Ryan Stout. First of all, Ryan Stout, a couple of years ago had trouble with his PA agent, personal appearance agent. So he had to get his own road work for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about going back to my home club, which is Acme in Minneapolis. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know how to get back in there because I lost my PA guy." And I was like, "Oh, well, I can mention you. Why don't I just see what?" And so he's back in with Lewis and Acme, and it's all well and good. But the thing is, because he's a great comic. But here's the thing: is he was on the Dork Forest, and the Dork Forest is what you were obsessed with. What do you love? And his dorkdom was traffic court, and he brought in a stack like a foot tall because he went to traffic court to explain to the judge that a traffic ticket is unconstitutional.
Oh no, he's one of those guys. What? Ah.
He explained that a traffic ticket was unconstitutional. That's Ryan Stout. So Ryan Stout,
he loves to get down in the weeds with things.
He's a pedant. He's a didactic. He's a glorious comic and a good egg in many ways, but he loves numbers and spreadsheets, and he's like, this is not a valid slice of life, or this is not a valid study. And he was talking about stage time versus paid spots.
Well, I don't know. I didn't talk to any female comic who was like, that doesn't seem right. Like, we all were like, yeah, 16% feels about right.
Right. And the thing is, my favorite was your comment to Ryan at the end of it, which was just, I hope this thread lasts until 2020. Because it just kept
responding to me.
Talking. Anyway, the study was just the study. It's how many, and it was interesting that this guy looked into MCs and features as well, because that's where usually women comics are put. There aren't women headliners. They're women.
No, there are. They just it's clubs will be like, oh, all right, we'll put a woman on, and then it's the MC, and that's it. Like as little time as possible, so our audience doesn't run away. That's the mentality of some guys. So
right.
They fear a female headliner for.
But they know that they're supposed to book women, so
Yes.
they usually book them in the lower paying gigs.
Right. Yes.
And so. But there's like right now, there's just like so many great women comics.
It's ridiculous.
And a lot of them are getting really good stage time. Did you watch that Sarah Schaefer 8-minute clip from her Comedy Central thing?
It's great, yeah.
It was so funny. It was about, and it literally was about conspiracy theories. And I haven't heard anybody do sort of why there are conspiracy theories and sort of a history of it. It was very funny. Sarah Schaefer, I don't have anywhere to go with that. It's not like, and now we cut to the clip. I don't have that.
I forget comedy bits so quickly. I'm just like, yeah, I liked that one, but I could not break it down or describe it to you.
Oh, I can only do that. I can't remember people's heads, like their faces attached to their person. Mm-hmm. I can only. I am like the Dragon Riders of Pern. You know. You're familiar with the Dragon Riders of Pern.
I'm not. And I won't be. And I won't have you say those words to me anymore.
And you can only remember the dragon's name. You can never remember the rider's name. I don't know if you remember Falar and Lessa. Anyway, I'll be over here.
I'm checking
reading
our time.
a book about dragons.
Here's what's horrifying is we have 2 more live podcasts to do this week, and we are already out of our topics. Why did we think this was a good idea to do 3 live ones in a row?
I don't know, but we should air them all next week.
Oh my God.
We should drop them all and then do another one when we get back to LA. And then you'll know, why have we done this at all?
But we're having live audiences and we don't have anything to talk about tomorrow night.
Well, maybe we could do other people's material. No, I forgot to tell you that my brother Russ, who has loved Jay Leno since 1985, has recently been sending me clips of Jay Leno on Letterman.
Right.
Do you know
he was great on Letterman?
Let me tell you that Jay Leno was on Letterman 42 times. Do you know why I know that? Because Russ Cation told me so.
Wow.
42 times.
On late night.
On late night.
He was great.
And he did.
Did you like
today?
it?
Russ sent me a caricature of Jay Leno. Essentially, it was the jokes were fine, and but he looked like. He was wearing a skinny tie and a jacket. He looked like Miami Vice, but done by someone who's a comic, so not good looking. In 1985.
That was
so his sleeves are pushed up.
That was
and he had a
Leno in
skinny
'85.
tie. Yeah, that was Leno, and he was nailing it. But it was 10 minutes, and he was mostly. Russ said that he's been listening to them so much that
Why is he listening to old Leno?
all Russ does is listen to old YouTube. It's literally Merv Griffin,
What?
Dick Cavett. Yeah, Merv Griffin, Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, and the other Jack Parr and
Jack Benny, but Jack Parr.
But Jack Parr, and then the guy, the really big shoe. Who's that guy?
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan. Yeah, he likes that guy. So yeah, he's got essentially he grew up in the Appalachians in the 12th century, and he loves it's a simpler time. Do you know why? Because he was a child. Anyway, so. But he loves, but he keeps sending them to me, and he's like, that was a great bit, too. And I realized at the third one that my brother Russ has Jay Leno's timing.
Oh.
That's how much he
interesting.
likes Jay Leno.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. No, nothing here? Okay, good for me. I'll keep writing. Okay.
Leno, he still works a lot. Like he was involved. He did a show for, I forget. It has something to do with that Ukraine, that dinner where Zelensky and Leno was either at the dinner or he was entertaining.
Oh,
He was
I believe
hanging
he
out
was
with
hired
Jared
to-
Kushner. Yeah.
Did he ever hang out with Jared from Subway, do you think?
No.
Just guys named Jared. Who like children.
You just have a part of your brain that collects things that aren't supposed to be together.
Yep.
Okay.
Because what I really have is a problem with things that are supposed to be together. Those never. There's no row. It's not linear at all. It's very sad.
The other guy that's a comic it's involved in the impeachment thing is Randy Credico. He's basically the witness that put away. Are we walking people?
Yes.
What happened?
You know what? If people are tie-tied, they got to go. Let them go. It's okay.
Oh, really?
It's all right.
Are those the Montana people? What happened to them? Why aren't they fascinated by this conversation about your brother's Leno impression? That's what I don't get. I'm riveted.
This is a real clock eater, so you go.
I'm just so worrisome that people are going to show up to the show tomorrow night, and we not only do they not know that it's a podcast, that we don't have anything to fucking talk about. This is terrifying.
Are you? Do we need to check your meds? What's happening? No, I think it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
We will have things to talk about. We can go to the vault. We can talk about because tomorrow. Remember, we're going to be in a car together for 3 hours in silence.
I'm not. Yeah, we can't talk at all. We have to drive to Eugene without saying a word to each other.
That's why I was hoping your son was going to be in the car because I could talk to him about something.
No.
About
Adults
art.
can't talk to him.
I can talk to him.
He just looks at his knees and mumbles.
Right.
Yeah.
But he mumbles about manga. Who doesn't want to be mumbled at about manga? Anyway.
You've already let go that 3 people left during
Yes, I've decided to let them live their lives. It turns out. And then they came back. Look at this.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have
Where did
bodily
you go?
functions. We've been doing this podcast for 6 hours.
Oh, you went to the bathroom? Tiny bladder. Okay.
Oh, there you
TB.
go.
Yeah, I got
I
it.
have to go to the bathroom too. Hey, the notebooks came. Did you see that?
Yeah. I don't think we should sell merch during our podcast. I think that's...
Well, I'm not going to get up and start swiping square. That's what I'm just calling it now, swiping square. It sounds dirty.
when I was at the lab on Wednesday while you were out killing in the big room. The lab it's this room. It's adjacent to the improv, and it can be really fun or the worst you've ever bombed since the last time you were at the lab. It's like,
but sometimes the lab is really fun. Yeah,
it is, and it's also a gentle bomb because you feel like people are listening, but they don't understand how they're supposed to respond. I don't know maybe because they're not in the big room. They're like, oh, this is the serious part of the comedy club. And this is an emotional story this woman's telling. But it was a hard bomb.
Oh, so it was a hard
But
set.
it was everyone across the board. I stayed to make sure the next comic also didn't do well. And
excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I got off stage and Caitlin Gill said to me, I didn't really set him up very good for you. That is a sign that I didn't do very well either.
Oh.
In the main room. She was like, I should have done more jokes or something. And I was like, no, you were fine. They were fine. I got to say all the words that I needed to say out loud in an order.
The only thing anyone's ever allowed to say is good set. Nice job.
It is nice, or nothing at all. Do you know I've told you this before. The
What?
first time I met Dana Gould,
Yeah.
I got to do a guest set, and I got off stage, and he literally would not make eye contact with me. And I don't blame him, because it was not a good set. And I was like, better he does not lie. I would prefer not to be lied at.
Okay. I prefer to be lied to.
Oh, would you?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. We're very different people.
Oh, by the way, okay, I recorded an album in San Francisco, and I have 6 sets to listen to, so I finally made myself listen to one set. And
Good.
There's the guy mic'd, like he mics the audience. There's mics all over the place, and I listened to the one off the mic where I can't hear the audience. And it's just me doing my act to nothing.
Wow, it's like you have a podcast where you just
It
talk
is
to
so
yourself.
fucking horrifying. I'm like, I can't release this. I can't. Am I a comic? Like, it sounds awful, and
So
I
that's
don't
the
know
only
what to
one
do.
you've listened to?
Yeah, that was the only
Yeah.
one, and then I was like,
Did
this
you
is
listen to
never
the whole
coming
thing
out.
and log it? Did you log it and stuff, or what did you do?
No, I
Just
listened
listen?
while I was cleaning, and I was cringing the entire time and
Sure.
thinking, I don't sound happy. My voice sounds
Troubled.
Yes, and would you want to listen to this while you're driving in the car? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. And but I finished it because I made myself listen to one.
Right, and you listened to the hardest one so far, because that's the one without the audience, right?
Well, they're all going to sound like that.
They're not going to all sound like that, are they?
Yeah, I mean, because the
It's mostly the mic,
right. I'm
but
just
there
saying
should be a crowd response on some of the other mics, right?
Yeah, there is.
Good.
Yes, right.
That's what I want. I want you to listen to. Don't listen to the one where it's just you talking into the.
I understand.
Okay, good.
I'm just telling you, it felt awful.
Right, and
And
so
I'm letting you know.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I like the looking into the distance,
But
and
the
I'm
other
letting
thing
you know.
is the sound guy's like, okay, I think the Friday first show was the best show.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't
What did
feel
you
like
feel?
that. I felt like the Thursday show is the best show. But I remember on my first album, someone said this show is the best show, and I was like, but I guess if that person says so, then I guess we'll do it. And I hate it. And I think I'm gonna go with what I remember feeling like
That's
me
it.
being my most
Yeah.
me self, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I've gotten that feedback though, and I've listened to both. Like, because the thing is so when the last album I did, I recorded all 7 sets. Well, I don't want to listen to 7 sets. I'm willing to listen to 4.
Okay.
Maybe 5. But somebody said Friday first show was the best set, and I was like, well, I thought Thursday was kind of the best set.
Oh, interesting. Same
Yes,
as me.
same as you. But it turns out a couple of jokes were really good from Saturday's second show.
Yeah.
Because Saturday's second show is such a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You don't know. You end up doing bits that you didn't do the whole week because the audience is exhausted and drunk.
Right.
So it's a good time. I think we're done.
Wait a minute. I don't know. We can't end early. This is a live show. Oh my God, we're 1 minute over. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. I hope that was entertaining.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.